Hello, Bobby Torres of Frightbox recording here with some tips on getting these amp sims to actually work within your metal productions. We live in a time where technology has come a long way. There are guys out there that still claim that you cannot use amp sims and nothing will beat a real amp, and I can see their points. You know, I still prefer to use a real amp, but at the end of the day, it's not because I feel like a real amp sounds better than an amp sim. It mainly comes down to control. With a real amp, I could move the microphone and really dial in the tone and the phase the right way that fits the production that I'm working on. But if you have the right sim matched with the right impulse response, you could totally track a pro sounding records, and bands do it all of the time. Meshuggah, Periphery, infinite amounts of metal bands use amp sims, and they've been doing it for a long time. This is nothing new. They've been doing it for 20 years now, maybe even more. The problem is that it's really confusing to people that just started out with production. There are just too many damn options. I mean, every 5 seconds there's a new plugin that comes out that claims it's the latest and greatest and it sounds better than any other plugin, any other plugin ever made. I have kids come into the studio left and right. Oh, did you hear this new plugin? Did you hear this new amp sim plugin? Oh, this one's better than this amp sim plugin. At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. What really matters is that you're capturing and using a tone that's just good and in phase. So on the topic of the phase thing, a lot of these amp sim plugins that I've tried and demoed, the thing I'm not too crazy about is that you can't load your own impulse response with a lot of them. It's kind of like what you buy is what you get, just whatever it comes preloaded with. And for me, the IR, the impulse response, is really important. For anyone that doesn't know what a impulse response actually is, it's the frequency response of the cabinet and microphone that was captured when they sent a test tone through the actual cab. So when you download an impulse response, that's an actual real representation of the cab and the mic that was used when they captured it, if that kind of makes sense. So in other words, once you download an impulse response, that's the mic placement and that's the mic and that's the room that they chose to record that cab in. And that's the other problem. A lot of the ones I've downloaded just don't work for me. So I started making my own years ago, and I haven't looked back because I'm really picky. And you should be picky with metal production because you really need to get it right at the source. My preferred amp sim to use is actually the TSC Audio X50. It's extremely affordable, and I love that it's not packed full of bells and whistles that you don't need. It has a tube screamer, which most metal rhythm guitars require to tighten up the low end. It's got a great interface. It's just like the actual real amp. And my favorite component to it is that you can load your own impulse responses, which to me is absolutely key. Because like I said before, I've tried so many I've bought IRs from companies, I've downloaded them, and they're just all unusable. There's just weird stuff happening with the phase. And again, no amount of EQ in the world is gonna fix a guitar sound that's not in phase. Or it has weird stuff going on with phase, or it's just not captured right in the first place. So anyway, with that being said, I have an audio sample here of just a quick little clip of a stereo rhythm guitar, doubled, one on the left, one on the right, with one of my own impulse responses loaded up, just to show you what it could sound like at the source with absolutely no EQ, no fancy business going on, and to show you how usable it actually is. So let's take a listen to it. Okay, and that's just the plugin. There is nothing happening on these tracks. That's literally just a plugin, again, with my own impulse response. And that's not to say that good ones do not exist out there. I've just had a hard time finding them, so I started making my own. So just to show you a real world example of some of the issues that you can run into, I'm gonna load up an impulse response that I downloaded. It's one of an SM57. I think it was on a Marshall cab or something. So let's hear how that sounds. I'm not gonna change the tone. I'm not gonna change anything else other than the impulse response that I'm using, just so you can hear how drastic of a difference it makes. So let's check this one out. Yeah, for me personally, that's completely unusable. There's nothing you could do with EQ. So if someone were to give me this amp tone without any DI, I would be completely screwed and I would not be able to mix the project. So let's try another one. I downloaded another one. I think this one's of a Mesa cab with a V30. Let's check it out. Again, it's not horrible, but I couldn't use that for a rhythm guitar tone. For me, you know, the tone needs to sound like it's clear, but not too bright. No weird stuff happening in the low end, no weird stuff happening in mid-range. And the only way that you're gonna accomplish that is by miking up a cab properly. At least my version of what proper mic placement is. Okay, so let's go back to the original example just to show you how much of a difference it actually makes. So here is the, oh, by the way, the IR I'm using, I captured with it's simple. It's an SM57 on my favorite Mesa cab at the studio, in the right spot, and that's about it. In a room that's not close, it's not small enough where you're getting phase issues, so it's a completely straight tone. So again, let's just check it out. So there you have it. As you can tell, it makes a drastic difference, and I did not change anything outside of swapping those IRs. Again, it's sort of like, you know, it's analogous to if you were in real life actually moving around a mic. And as many of you know, moving around a microphone it doesn't even matter if you move it half an inch, it completely changes your tone. So if you like what you heard, you could download this for free on my website. There's a link in the description below. Simply go to the website, enter your email address, and you could download this impulse response to use within your own productions. And hopefully it helps you out and will make mixing a billion times easier, which it probably will. So hopefully you found this video helpful. If you did, like, comment, subscribe, share. And until next time, happy mixing.